Hey guys, mahal everyone, 40 the Broadway saying here. Welcome to my YouTube channel with another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, I'm bringing you guys part 6 of my video series for Opera Omnia called the X Factor. Now before we move on with this video, I do want to address two questions that I get a lot with my previous videos for the X Factor. The first question is, Broadway saying, where do you get your resources as to when these potential EX weapons you talk about will be coming out for global? Well, there's a website called the Altema, which I will be leaving the link to that website in the video description as well as the pinned comments to this video. And in particular, the particular section of this website is going to be called the Gacha Memorial Hall. This shows you the past and current banners that have currently hit the JP version of Opera Omnia. And the reason why I use this resource is they're fairly accurate as to when Global will be potentially getting these EX weapons. And not only that, but the JP version of the game did come out a year earlier compared to Global, so this is a great resource for everybody to take a look as to when or where these EX weapons are going to be hitting the Global version of the game, so be sure to check that out. And the second question that I get asked is, hey Broadway say it, what about the EX weapon for Onion Knight? What about the EX weapon for Vaughn? What about the EX weapon for Squall, Warrior of Light? Have you covered these? And I absolutely have covered these particular EX weapons. They are in previous X Factor videos that I've done. I've recently started tweaking my YouTube channel so then that way you guys have these playlists for particular series for Opera Omnia. So be sure to check that out in my YouTube channel. There is a playlist for the X Factor as well as the other series that I do for Opera Omnia. With that being said, let's go ahead and start this video for part 6, the X Factor. So some things to remember when watching. EX weapons grant a character 70 CP upon pulling, and then when you max limit break and level them, it increases to 80 CP. And then also EX abilities have a recast speed ranging from slow to fast. And the video series, again, as a reminder, is intended to show off these amazing weapons and help newer players and free-to-play players understand if the said character can still be useful even without it, as EX weapons do have the lowest drop rate amongst the 5-star weapons that are in Opera Omnia. The first character we're going to talk about is Ramza, who is actually a fan favorite, one of my all-time favorite characters, the Master Squire, the support master himself. His EX weapon is called Rune Blade, grants him the EX ability Triple Break being a 2-hit melee Brave plus HP attack with a 360% Brave damage output that grants Brave to all allies based on 50% of the HP damage that's dealt. It also inflicts a unique debuff called Triple Break on the target for 6 turns. Triple Break lowers a target's attack, defense, and speed by 20%, and because this is a unique debuff, it means that it's framed that the only way that the enemy or the target can remove this is if they dispel it. It cannot be pushed off. So very, very powerful. And this EX ability has a slightly fast recast speed. At 1 limit break, this will be raising the Brave damage dealt by this EX ability. At 2, Triple Break's recast speed will be increased, making it even faster to access. And then at 3, it raises Ramza's max Brave by 30%. And keep in mind, this is a permanent effect when you hit this limit break. So it's pretty much like an aura where Ramza gets this permanently. Now, my verdict on Ramza's EX Rune Blade is, upon his awakening, Ramza has gotten more potent as a strong support for your party. Having his EX will also give him an option as a powerful debuffer and Brave Battery for your allies. And to top it off, this is one of the faster charging EX abilities. It's a must pull because if you are a Ramza main, expect to use this EX ability quite often. It's a very, very powerful EX ability. And the first banner appearance for this weapon is on the Ramza EX banner, which is due to come out, you know, whenever we get another Heretic event that features an awakening for several characters on Global. It is repeated on the Ramza and Terra level 70 awakening banner. Yes, JP does have level 70, which is far along now for Global, but this is when this weapon actually comes back. So if you guys miss out on it when it initially comes in, this is when it's going to come out. The next character we're going to talk about is everybody's favorite crazy monk woman, Prishe. So her EX weapon is called Glanz Faust. I apologize, I'm not entirely sure what the pronunciation is, but yeah, that's the name of the weapon. So it gives her the EX ability Nullifying Dropkick. Quite a descriptive EX ability there. It's a 4-hit melee Brave plus HP attack that ignores defense. So we're going to be encountering some enemies that have high defense or increase their defense. Prishe ignores that. She doesn't care. She also deals 600% Brave damage output as base, which is enormous. The only other EX ability to tie with this is Dark Knight Cecil's. Her Brave with this ability can also overflow up to 200% of max Brave, which is crazy. It is only second to Dark Knight Cecil's, which is at 250%, but don't forget, Dark Knight Cecil's costs HP, whereas Prishe's doesn't. And then it also extends all buffs granted by Prishe for 5 turns, which is crazy. It also grants 60% max Brave to Prishe for 5 turns. Just keep in mind that this does require this EX weapon to be 2 out of 3 limit break. It does have a slow recast speed, but hey, that's fair because 600%, that's a pretty high Brave damage output. Now, at 1 limit break, it's going to be further raising that Brave damage dealt by Nullifying Dropkick. At 2, it's going to grant her that 60% max Brave up for 5 turns, which is a buff, as we mentioned before. And then at 3, it raises the recast speed of Nullifying Dropkick. So my verdict on this EX weapon is, okay, we have 16% Brave damage output, increased max Brave by for that buff, 200% overflow, extended buffs, and defense ignore. What's not to love about this weapon? Prishe mains, I'm just going to say it outright there, you better pull on this banner because not only will this save her ability usage, but this is a very, very, very powerful EX weapon. Again, very similar to Dark Knight Cecil. The only difference is that it doesn't cost her HP. And not only that, but most people like to open up with Prishe with Spinning Attack. But a lot of people forget that 1-inch punch gives her an increase to crit rate, and at least with this, you extend that. So that means Prishe deals even more and more damage. Now, the first banner appearance for this weapon is the Prishe EX banner, which again follows whenever there's a heretic quest released for like a batch of awakening characters. However, unfortunately, in the JP version of the game, this has yet to repeat on another banner. However, with the global version of the game, you never know, this might change. They might bring this back after the Prishe EX banner. And then finally, the last character we're going to talk about is everybody's, well, a majority of people's favorite Final Fantasy X character, Auron. I want to say Tidus' second daddy, because he kind of is. Yuna's OG Guardian. So his EX weapon is called Shiranui. This grants him the EX ability Dragon Fang, which is a 2-hit AoE Brave plus melee Brave plus HP attack. The HP damage that he deals is divided on multiple targets. It has a 210% Brave damage output. It does deal more Brave damage to a singular target. It also inflicts melee imperil for 3 turns, meaning that the target that has this debuff is more susceptible to melee attacks. It also grants Auron 50% physical attack up for 6 turns. This ability does have a slow recast speed. At 1 limit break, this raises the Brave damage dealt on Dragon Fang. At 2, it increases the Brave damage dealt to a single target by 60%. And at 3, it raises the recast speed of Dragon Fang. So my verdict on this weapon is to be able to compete with the current powerful level 60 units in global even after his awakening, Auron will definitely need to have this EX weapon. He's one of these characters that's reliant on the EX weapon to make him really, really shine. Because without it, and I know we don't have his level 60 yet because we're waiting for his LOP chapters, but without it, he's kind of subpar. But with it, he actually can compete. And he does specialize in that melee imperil to increase his damage with melee attacks. So therefore, having this EX makes that even easier for him. And the first banner appearance for this weapon is with the Auron Lost Chapter banner. It does have yet to repeat on the JP version of the game, but again, like I said, this could change for the global version of the game, as they are making things a little bit different for the global version of Opera Omnia. Alright guys, this is going to conclude part 6 for the X Factor video series on Opera Omnia. Hopefully you guys found this video useful. Again, guys, don't forget, I do leave really, really helpful links on the video description as well as the pinned comments. You got the Dissidia DB there, you got the Altema, you got Safina's database, which gives you the actual percentages for these abilities and passives. And to top it off, we have a global tier list created by the Dissidia Opera Omnia tier list crew, as well as the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles podcast, which is run by some really skilled players for Opera Omnia. Be sure to check out all those links, as well as my Discord on there, and as well as the different communities for Opera Omnia. This is 40 the Broadway saying, stay tuned for the next video, and mahal everyone.